Hello everybody and welcome to a continuation of the Bioshock series. I'm Nellick Plays and we are going into the Bioshock Museum. The Museum of Orphan Concepts, a guided tours of ideas that Irrational Games discarded and reworked heavily during the making of the original Bioshock. As you can see, we're kind of in a cool little, that's interesting, little tunnel here. Alright, so, here we are. Got some statues, got some designs. Okay, so we have this picture here. So if you go up to these things, there's exhibits and stuff. So they try to understand actual function or the conceptual work of rapture. A thick forest burst into opposite oxygen change. So this idea made it into the game with the Arcadia level with the trees that we had to save. These are gatherers, so reclaim Adam were the earliest iteration. And little sister of the gatherers. So originally, those were the gatherers were gonna be. Then they turned into little sisters. Probably for a good reason, because that thing is pretty scary. Look at this. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that. Early bouncer. Big Daddy featured a flat-headed drill on the end of each arm. The Big Daddies are envisioned as the builders of Rapture, with weapons modified from tools they would have used from its construction. When the Gatherers were reimagined as little sisters, one of the bouncer's drills was changed into a glove hand so the two characters could interact with each other. Slow Profum, International's internal name for this prototype Big Daddy variant, who mauled paper with an enormous hook and fired iron bearings from a barrel, stood for slow projectile. Oh, okay, well, they spelled it. Survived long enough to become fully functional AI, but the team eventually cut him to focus on polishing the other Big Daddy types. This model later appeared in Bioshock 2 as the Rumbler. Mini turrets. Okay, so yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of these guys. Where we're heading to next, we'll be seeing a lot of them. But that's fine. That's fine with me. Hanging sea life. Not as much of a cut concept as an Easter egg for observant museum visitors. These sea creatures can be seen swimming past players' view during the bathysphere ride down to Rapture in Bioshock's opening sequence, which, by the way, is one of the best opening sequences of any game I've ever played. There's a giant whale. Okay. Got some fishies there. Alright, so... oh, there's pictures here. So this is originally called Protectors. Big Daddy's original called Protectors, envisioned as dive suited construction workers retasked with the defensive Atom gatherers. They used construction tools or improvised weapons that looked like they had been found on the seafloor. So these are early concept of ranged and slow projectile. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's like an old rivet gun. Oh, yeah, so this is all the same. It's got like a hook hand, like something happened. Oh, that's pretty cool. What about this? Early Big Daddy. These are early concepts for the Rosie type of Big Daddy, who, like the bouncer, envisioned as a construction worker, had been repurposed as a protector for the gatherers. Which, I mean, obviously, like, they look like they're diving, like they're in diving suits, right? Like, they were sent down here to help build Rapture. So, well, that thing looks interesting. What is that? Grotesque Human was a slow process, while early concept Melee grew into monstrous arms. The team had someone who had spliced become a marksman would appear. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we already read that one. Some of them are the same, some of them are different. What is that? Oh, dude, that looks like a super mutant. Pre-Am hand. Before solidifying the fiction around Adam, Irrational experimented with the idea of it being an external injected substance. You can see us playing around with Adam being mechanically injected, said lead artist Sean Robertson. So the splicers got vials of it on his belt. This model was created but never made it into the game. So he's got like these. He can just inject it as he goes. I mean, that's kind of a cool idea. Oh, this thing's creepy. Early Splicer. The first concept sketches to show Bioshock's enemies moving in a more human-like direction. Artists coupled that approach with the idea that Adam deformed the body in a way that reflected to its intended function. A giant grotesque arm on a melee enemy. Like that. Now that looks like something out of, like, The Last of Us. First concept sketches show Bioshock's enemies moving in a more human-like direction. Artists coupled that. Okay, so... same thing. Oh my god, look at that thing. That's the same shotgun model. That looks like a centaur, kind of. That it's a ranged aggressor. Stitchy. First splicer that Irrational created for Bioshock, Stitchy, was used in many early concept demos and was fully functional in-game with kinematics, hit reactions, and voiceover. It took us so long to realize that he wasn't a good model, says lead artist Sean Robertson. This is probably the worst abortion that Irrational has ever made. So they made him pretty much ready to go into the game and then cut him. Huh, that makes sense. What is that thing? Dude! What the size of that? Could you imagine seeing that thing coming down the hallway? What is that? Grenadier Splicer. Man, they originally they were like underwater beings. The Gray Elephantine Splicer was an early Grenadier from the same period of development as okay. And Hooker. He was a guy who spliced to carry around giant grenades and throw them at you, says lead artist Sean Robertson. The model was built and textured but never animated. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a weird, like, I'm glad they went with like a more human approach. That thing looks like a weird, like, crunchy monster thing. I don't know. Sorry, what was that? Location depicted here is built for the Vision demo of Bioshock, a small level demonstrating several of the key elements of the game, such as the Big Daddies and Gatherers. So it's a very small demo level, apparently, from the way it looks. It looks like there's like dead bodies floating there, water leaks. Neptune's Bounty. This area appears in the Neptune's Bounty level of Bioshock, but the bodies floating in the ocean were cut late in development, where the cast shadows proved too distracting from the action of the room. I mean, I can kind of see that, like the shadows being casted on the floors and stuff, being like, whoa, look at that. That thing is creepy, man. It's like some illuminant stuff. Hooker. At the same time as Stitchy and the Grenadier, this splicer is dubbed the Hooker because of her weapon of choice. Concept evolved in the Spider Splicer when it was decided that splicer models could fill any behavior role, and the Hooker model later became the Baby Jane Splicer. Keep it that way, so let's head this way. What is this? Fleet Hall. This early concept for Sander Cohen's Fleet Hall was created after level building had begun. When the designers found that they were having difficulty conceptualizing the theater space, it was one of the earliest spaces built for Bioshock, and many of the assets used in this museum came from that area. That is really cool, though. Oh, that's cool, too, though. Iconic Rapture Concepts. This was the first image that really captured all the visual elements that made Bioshock Bioshock. A large view of the ocean, the aquatic lighting scene, and the elegant Art Deco design elements. Without this image, Bioshock would have been a radically different beast. I believe it, and I absolutely adore the Art Deco image in this game. I love what they went through, absolutely love it. Big Daddy concept art. Oh, come on. This is an early concept depicting a Big Daddy bursting through a wall, which inspired the audio log in the Big Daddy Training Grounds area about a rogue Big Daddy. The player then encountered him at the end of the level. Yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, he was kind of mean. I can't imagine he's going to be too much fun to deal with when you're, like, on hardcore or survivor mode. What's these early submarine sketches? Sub-Bay concept. This is a concept sketch depicting what would later become the submarine bay, an area which housed an important scene for Atlas. Oh, yeah. Me wife and me child, Morna and Patrick. Who's this guy? Man, these guys look like ALMOs, man. That's a freaking alien right there. This character is essentially the missing link between the grotesque early designs and the human splicers that appeared in Bioshock. This is the last bad model they did before moving on to actually what in the game, says lead artist Sean Robertson. After playing with him for a while, we just said, why don't we use humans instead? I always thought of these as Scooby-Doo monsters because they were too inhuman to invoke empathy. Yeah. So they went from that big thing to that to humans. Good choice. Good choice. What's this? Slime from Slug. Blood on inside of glass ports. Tarnished brass. This is the fourth protector concept, originally created with an organic slug attached to it. A model was started but never completed, as the team narrowed their focus to 3 and finally just 2 Big Daddy types. I still like this as a protector, says artist Rob Waters. We started modeling and I really pushed to get it in, even if it was just a stacked model on the floor, but I never made it. I mean, it does look pretty cool though, doesn't it? And it looks a little body with the legs, kind of like, Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Right. There are some. These are some of the earliest pieces done for Bioshock, back when Irrational was still working on SWAT 4. Oh, wow. The only concrete ideas at that point were an undersea city and biological experimentation, so early concepts focused on those themes. So, this is an early concept, so this would have been what? Oh, wait, there were several paintings. Let's see, these images we'll have to find the ruined underwater Art Deco aesthetic that the team was attempting to capture. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that at first. I was too busy looking at whatever that was supposed to be. And that's like, yeah. Bioshock. So, it could have been a lot of things. And I'm glad that they developed it the way they did. I'm glad they came up with the things that they did. These are some of the earliest pieces done for Bioshock. From back when Irrational was still working on SWAT 4. Okay, so that was the same thing. Like, it went from the splashers we know and the gameplay that we have from this to that. Like, these are like aliens and creatures, and what is this guy? Oh my god, look, he's got a freaking crab arm. Yam Hand. This character, diversively called Yam Hand, derivatively, I don't know. Around Irrational Games is the poster child of the conceptual phase that preceded the decision to go with human enemies. I'd point out the drawings behind the model, says lead artist Sean Robertson. Usually the top one got built, but the other two informed the design as well. We trended more towards humanoids. The Scooby-Doo monsters got goofier and less scary. Yeah, I would say so. So, alright, well, I think, as much as I wish there was more to go through here, I think that is everything in here that we can go through. Absolutely. So, I loved the game. I had a lot of fun with the game. I'm really excited to play Bioshock 2. Like I said, I'll be working on the survivor mode of this game periodically. I'm not gonna dedicate a lot of time to that. But when I do, I'll definitely be making episodes of it. It'll probably be like a mix of like just kind of progression, because you guys have already seen all the progression beforehand anyway. So yeah, I'd really like to thank everyone who watched this series. I'd really like to thank everyone for all the support. This channel is growing a little bit faster than I thought it would, and I really appreciate everything that everyone is doing to help with that, whether you're liking the videos or subscribing to the content or you're just watching it. It means the world to me. So I really appreciate all of you for coming around. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see all of you in the next video.